size of a what is the size of a calf and the footprint of a calf. This whole this bhavasagar, becomes the size of that. And then, right, with just one step, you really cross over the difficult bhavasagar. Tad pada patena mahat krutena kurbanti govatsa. Govatsa is the calf, padam, the footprint of the calf. Bhavabdhim, this bhavasagar, we can really cross over. And we were discussing last time very beautifully that how, especially this couple of verses, especially this prayers by the demigods in this section, they have glorified immensely the lotus feet of the Lord. What is so special about the lotus feet of the Lord? What is so special? What is Bhavasagar? Bhava. This Bhavasagar, where there is this ocean of miseries. Ocean of miseries, and the miseries in terms of Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. And it is why it is compared to a sagar, ocean, because it's just like in an ocean, there are unlimited waves and also ceaseless, right? It never ends. So there is no visibility for us that at any point of time, this miseries of the material world will go away. And there is no limit to the extent of misery that we have in this material world. Like somehow or other, like, we might be going on the right path. We might be following everything correctly. Just like it is mentioned that in a forest, right? Everything is okay, but suddenly, there comes a forest fire. And how the forest fire comes? Just, with the natural intercourse, like, the two trees or the two branches or the two dry woods, with the wind, they really, get contact with each other, and then, the fire gets sparked, and there is a forest fire. And with that small spark, it devours the entire forest. So, and that's why, it is compared, this Bhavasagar is, like this material world is compared to the Bhavasagar. It is compared to the Davanal. It's compared to the forest fire. And it is very difficult for an ordinary living entity to come out of it, like from the ocean. But then, like here, we are given this analogy of the boat. Boat, which is a boat. Boat is the lotus feet of the Lord. Once you take shelter of that boat, then the Lord comes and he extends his hand, and then he said, "Now come, and I am here to take you back to the other side of the ocean, where there is Vaikuntha, there is no Kuntha, there is no misery, and there is the spiritual world where you can really sing and dance and have all the pastimes with no problems, not even Zoom problem." Where we want to really come together and have some Krishna Katha, but there are so many obstacles, there are so many challenges. And sometimes, like, there are so many options in this material world, how we should not come to this Krishna Katha, or how we should not take shelter of the Lord. Even if we know that, okay, like coming to the Krishna consciousness, Krishna Katha, like hearing, it is said that first qualification of a devotee. Because through hearing, we get Shraddha. Because without hearing Krishna Katha, we don't get Shraddha. So, yes, we should have that eagerness. And once you are not having that eagerness, means somehow I'm not able to realize that I am in that Bhavasagar. I'm not able to realize that at any moment that I'm going to be drowned again. I am going to be bombarded by that waves again and again. And I'm being tortured. So many wells are really tearing me apart from various directions. Once I realize, then more sincerely, more loudly, with more eagerness, I cry out, "Oh Krishna, trahi mam, pahi mam, raksha mam." Because we are not able to realize that we are suffering in this material world. We are not able to call out sincerely the Supreme Lord. So that's why Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, and all our acharyas, they first talk about the misery of the material world. They talk about that, yes, this is not a place for a gentleman. This is not a place for ladies and gentlemen. And that's why they have compared this to a restroom. Okay, you go to the restroom and then you come out of it as quickly as possible. You don't stay there. Similarly, yes, we have come to this material world to get rid of all our, anarthas. And once, somehow or other we get purified, and then we have to go back. This is not the place for us, to stay forever. So we have been discussing about this beautiful prayer, which really describes the lotus feet of the Lord. And this lotus feet of the Lord is so nectarian. It is so nectarian that Lord, He Himself, like He wants to test what is there in my lotus feet that they consider it as a board, they consider it as a like so beautiful, so effulgent, so glorious, that they always want to take shelter. And some of you must have seen that Bhattapatra, right? Like how Lord would be lying, Bal Gopal would be lying on that Bhattapatra, and he would be taking that toe and putting it, in his lotus mouth. Seeing that Ballabhacharya in that Sri Bala Mukundastakam, he prays very beautifully, right? Kararavindena padaravindam Mukharavinde vinivesayantam Bhatasya patrasya puteshayanam Balam Mukundam Manasa Smarami. Here, he's praying that, Kararavinda, Kara, his hand is like Kara, like his Aravinda, his lotus. He's taking that lotus-like hand. What he's taking? He's taking the lotus feet, Padaravindam. And what he's doing? He's putting Mukharavinde. He's putting it is in the lotus mouth. Vinivesayantam. And where he's lying down? Bhatasya patrasya. He's lying down on the Bhatasya. Just, Acharya is saying that I just want to meditate on that beautiful form, how beautiful he is, how merciful he is, how loving he is, how sweet he is. And there are so many, like especially verses, especially in Bhagavatam, which really glorifies, the lotus feet of the Lord. Especially, Rukmini, especially some of you might have heard that pastime, especially during Rukmini Dwadasi, just before Narasimha Chaturdasi. We really glorify Rukmini, the chief queen of Lord Krishna. And we see, right, like, of course, we know that how she wrote that first, love letter to the Supreme Lord Krishna, that how she wants to, right, she is so right, enamored by the beauty of Krishna. She says that, oh Lord, you have two problems and I have two problems. What is the two problems that you have? Oh Lord, you are so beautiful. Your eyes are so beautiful. You are so beautiful, right? And what is my problem? That I have these eyes, that this eye, and I have this mind that always wants to see you, always want to remember you. That is the right. And Rukmini is saying that very beautifully. She is praying in this 10th canto. We'll discuss a little later in this 52 chapter. She is saying that, oh Lord, I don't want anything else. I just want to receive your dust of your lotus feet. I want to have your darshan because I have heard about your glories. Saying, Srutva gunan bhuvana sundara srunutam te nirveshya karna vivare haratangatapam rupam drusam drusimatam akhilartha labham tvayachyuta visati chitam apatrapam me. People may say in a different words that how a shameless girl, she is writing a letter to, Vasudev Krishna. They might say whatever they want, but I am completely captivated by your beauty. And who are you? And especially even Lord Shiva, who is Shiva means auspicious. He's so pure, but then his purity is further increased, or his auspiciousness is further increased by receiving the water that is coming from your lotus feet. And Mother Parvati and Lord Shiva, they always want to get the dust of your lotus feet. That's what Rukmini is saying. This 10.15, 52.43. Yasyangri pankaja raja snapanam mahanto vanchanti umapati vatmatamo apahatye yarhi ambujaksa nalavai bhavat prasadam Jayham Shanvrata Krasan Satajanma Bhisya. She is hankering for the Lord's mercy. That whatever Lord Shiva and Parvati wanted to get it. And if I don't get it, and I would not mind, like leaving my body. Jayham Asu Vrata Krasan. I want to take this vow that I would really like to receive the dust of your lotus feet. Is so eager. We should have that laulyam, we should have that enthusiasm, we should have that eagerness to receive the Lord's lotus feet. There are so many instances, lot of devotees, they have glorified. Even this, we hear this pastime of Kaliya Daman Lila. In Kaliya Daman Lila, how Lord jumps into that Kaliya Radha and starts dancing on top of this Kaliya serpent, and then like after this Kaliya got really subdued, and the wives of Kaliya, they are coming and they are praying to Krishna. Oh Krishna, what kind of austerities or tapasya or piety our demoniac husband Kaliya had performed. Because we only knew that he had committed so much of sinful activities. He was always spewing poison all around Braj, and everybody was getting so much suffocated with that poison that was coming from his mouth. But we didn't know that he has committed some piety. Why you are saying so? Because now he has received the dust of your lotus feet, because you are dancing on top of his head. Definitely. Because that to get that lotus feet of the Lord, even Mother Lakshmi, sometimes Shankar is not able to get it. I think in the 10.16 I think 36 verse, all the Nagapatnis, they are saying, Kasyanubhavasya nadeva vidmahe tavangri renu sparsadhikara yanvanchaya sri lalana tapo Vihaya Kaman Suchiram Dhruta Vrata. They're saying, oh Lord, we do not know how this Kaliya got so much of opportunity being touched by your lotus feet. Because even goddess of fortune, Mother Lakshmi, even after performing so much of austerity for centuries, like that's how she got it, and what kind of our demoniac husband Kaliya got it. Right? Yes. There is a pastime when Akrura was coming to Vrindavan. Right. As soon as he saw the footprints of Lord, he got really ecstatic. He got really ecstatic. He was thinking that Hare Krishna. He got really ecstatic by seeing the footprint. In that footprint, he saw the marks of Sankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. And he was saying that, like, I was really praying for the millions of lives. And because of that piety, I now really received the mercy of having the darshan of the Lord's lotus feet. And yes, and our acharyas are saying that, just a second. Sorry, there are some disturbance. So we're talking about anybody remembers what we are discussing?
Akrura Prabhuji.
Our acharyas were discussing. We were talking about the acharyas.
Yes. Yes. Akrura, like, yes, he's coming and he's seeing this lotus footprint of the Lord. And then we're discussing that why devotee is so much of absorbed, so much really, attached to the lotus feet of the Lord. Why it is, in one of the verse in Bhagavatam, it is mentioned that this lotus feet of the Lord is considered as a sanctuary. Sanctuary. You know what is sanctuary? What is sanctuary? Like we have like this natural forests or the parks, it's called sanctuaries, sanctuary for the animals. Like we say, tiger sanctuary or elephant sanctuary, where they really protect that place so that like the hunters or any other predators, they don't go and they don't disturb that ecosystem. So similarly, our acharyas are saying that like the Lord's lotus feet is like sanctuary. So once you take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, that we are really protected from all the miseries of this material world. We are really protected. Just like Prabhupada also give this nice example or nice analogy. That just like a who is that fisherman? He goes to the pond and really throws the net to catch the fishes. Right? But if some fish comes near the feet of that fisherman, and that fish is protected because once he throws the net, right, it goes away, but doesn't come near the feet of that fisherman, right? Yes, this very beautiful slogan. Devi yasa gunamai mama maya duratyaya. Yes, this material world is very difficult for anybody to really cross over. But Devi yasa gunamai mama maya durante. Mam eva ya prapadyante maya metam tarante. Mam eva, like, but whoever surrenders to me, whoever takes shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, he is freed from everything. Maya metam tarante. He can cross over. And this, that's why the devotees like take shelter, because from that lotus feet of the Lord, there is also always the nectar is coming out. Paramananda he Madhava Padakaluchi Makaranda Se Makaranda Panakori Anande Volo Hari Hari. Acharyas are saying that, hey Madhava, hey Lord Krishna, from your lotus feet always nectar is coming out, honey, amrita is coming out. And my only desire is that I continue to drink that nectar that is coming from your lotus feet, and Anande, with the bliss, and I want to continue to chant Hari, 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 Hari. And I don't want to do anything else, because that is the real nectar that I want to really absorb myself, right? So yes, we discussed that how the Lord's lotus feet is all pure, that even Lord Shiva is getting more auspiciousness by getting the water that is coming from the Lord's lotus feet. We talked about how like a devotee takes shelter of the Lord, right? He gets protected from all the miseries, like we talked about sanctuary, like, and yes, talked about Rukmini, how she would not mind, right, doing tapasya for hundreds and thousands of lives, right, again and again, and just to receive the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord. And then we talk about the akrura, and I was thinking that, oh, right, the whole purpose of taking this body, has become successful now, right, by just seeing these beautiful marks of the lotus feet of the Lord. A devotee feels that, yes, this Lord's lotus feet is just like in a boat. Yes, it can cross over this, this, dangerous, ocean. The devotees feel that Lord's lotus feet is also like an umbrella, through which we can be really protected, from the sours of the glaciers that is being soured at any point of time or all the time. And then a devotee, that's why he want to take shelter. We talked about the example of the fisherman, and just like a fish who takes shelter of the feet of the fisherman, he gets protected. Similarly, yes, we go through so much of difficulties at all the time, but then once we take shelter, we get free from. And what is the most difficult situation for a devotee? The most difficult situation for a devotee is to really forgetfulness of the Supreme Lord. That is the most difficult, that is the most miserable. And what is the most happiest moment for a devotee? And what is the most cherished moment of a devotee? So that, cherished moment is that, okay, I want to never forget Krishna, and I always want to remember Krishna. Especially in Padma Purana, it is mentioned that smartabyam satatam Vishnu, vismrutabyam na jatuchit. Etaireva kinkara sarvavidhi nisyadyasu etaireva kinkara. So this is the two principle that we should always remember. What is that? We should always remember Lord, and we should never forget Lord. It's so simple. And especially, devotee is so attached to the lotus feet of the Lord. And now we may ask that, okay, we have heard enough the glories of the lotus feet of the Lord. Now, how do you take shelter? How do you serve the lotus feet of the Lord? Even Pada Sevanam is one of the the limbs of Navavidha Bhakti. So what does it mean to take shelter of or to serve the lotus feet of the Lord? What does it mean? Anybody would like to answer? What does it mean? What are the ways we can do Pada Sevanam of the Lord? Anybody would like to guess? How do you serve the lotus feet of the Lord? How do you take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord?
Hare Krishna.
By washing his feet.
By
Yes, by?
Yes, by remembering God all the time, by doing his kirtan and chintan.
Okay, by Sravanam Kirtanam, okay. Okay.
And chanting Mahamantra.
Yes, and because, like as we said, right, Prabhupada writing that that serving the lotus feet of the Lord means, to serve based on his desire, to fulfill the instruction of the Lord. And what is his instruction? Yes, Lord is saying Satato Kirtayanto Ma. Lord is saying, Manmana Bhava Madbhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru. It's so simple. And Prabhupada is writing here, right, in one of these verses, this 10th canto, 2nd chapter only, right? Like this is there in the later part of this section, where Prabhupada is writing that just doing this, Manmana Bhava Madbhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru. With that, Lord is guaranteeing, Lord is giving the guarantee that we'll go back to Godhead. What else we need? He is giving the guarantee for, he is writing a bond paper. Lord is writing a bond paper that yes, if you just follow this, I'll come back. I'll take you back to Godhead. Right? Okay. So let's continue further. This is what. This once again a very beautiful verse. It's once again the continuation glories of the lotus feet. Swayam samutirya dustaram tyuman bhavar navam bhima madobhraso hrudam Bhavat padambo ruhanavamatrate nidhaya yada sadanugraha bhavan. Yes, once again, Devatas are elaborating how this is so difficult to cross over. But oh Lord, you are Dyuman, you are just like a sun. You remove the darkness. And this Bhavarnavam, this ocean of nescience, it's very difficult. But all your followers, all your devotees, they are so merciful that they have crossed over by taking your shelter. And then they are also very merciful. And these devotees, they are not only merciful, they are friendly, they are compassionate to all the poor souls. And they said, okay, no, we are not selfish that now we have crossed over the material ocean, we don't care about you, you just be there wherever you are. No, they have left that boat so that you can also cross over that ocean. And what does it mean? Prabhupada is really explaining that. That how, like, yes, Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasada Pai. After traveling through this, Brahmanda, right, for millions of lifetimes, some Bhagyavan. Who is Bhagyavan? Who is Bhagyavan? Who get Bhagavan? Bhagyavan is not the one who get a lottery or who got a big house or a big bungalow or things. Bhagyavan means who get Bhagavan. And how you get Bhagavan? And through the bhakti. And how you get bhakti? Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. So yes, Bhagyavan means you are getting attached to Bhagavan. And how do you get Bhagavan? Through the bhakti. And how do you get bhakti? By Guru and Krishna Prasad. Through the mercy of Guru and Krishna. So yes, Prabhupada is writing, what is the duty of a Guru? Because how they are merciful, like that's what he said, like in a Guru, they really go through this material ocean, they come to this material ocean, they teach us, right? And they leave that boat, right? And they tell us, right? Because the duty of the Guru is based on the time, place, and circumstances, and based on the candidate. And they really give us the process through which we can follow it, and we can really go back to Godhead. And yes, like here, yes. Rupa Goswami, for example, in order to help subsequent devotees publish literatures like Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So it is the duty of Acharya to publish books. So what are the boat for us? Boat is really the books, the instructions that the Lord and the devotees have left us so that we can take that boat and we can really cross over. These Acharyas, they publish the books that will help the future candidates take up the method of service and become eligible to return home back to Godhead by the mercy of the Lord. In our Krishna conscious movement, the same path is being prescribed and followed. Thus, the devotees have been advised to refrain from 4 sinful activities: illicit sex, intoxication, meat eating, gambling, and to chant 16 rounds a day. Right? So, this is the process, right? This is the boat. Sometimes you may ask that, okay, why do you have to follow? Because this is the boat that our acharyas have given. Just chant minimum 16 rounds a day and follow these 4 regulatory principles. And then, yes, you'll go back to Godhead. You'll become eligible to return back to Godhead. This is what, and Prabhupada is giving. You don't believe it? Yes, that in the Western countries, like all the devotees, they have done it, right? Yes, like in the Western countries, it's not possible to chant or imitate like Srila Haridas Thakur chanting 22 hours a day or chanting 192 rounds. But just following this process, just minimum chant 16 rounds, follow 4 regulatory principles, then you will become eligible. Krishna will accept a devotee who follows the regulatory principles and method prescribed in various books and literature published by authorities. So that's why we are emphasizing all our devotees that please read books, Srila Prabhupada's books, and please follow the 4 regulatory principles. Yes, sometimes you might ask that, okay, why do you need to follow? Because this is the boat. This is how our acharyas have signed that agreement with the Lord. that, oh Lord, that's why they have really bargained with the Lord. That, oh Lord, right? They have been really following this, please take care of them. Right? The Acharyas, they have given the suitable method for crossing this ocean of nescience by accepting the bowl of the Lord's lotus feet. And if you strictly follow it, definitely, right, will ultimately reach the destination by the grace of the Lord. And this is called Acharya Sampradaya. And Sampradaya Bihina ye mantraste nisphalamata. So without accepting Sampradaya, without accepting the disciplic succession, even if we chant some mantras, it has no effect. That's why Prabhupada is saying one must accept Acharya Sampradaya. Otherwise, one's endeavor will be futile. Because we should be, asked, okay, where do you belong? We should say that, okay, I belong to the Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya of the Srila Prabhupada's ISKCON movement. And then, yes, now, yes, with their mercy, with Prabhupada's mercy, we are really eligible to go back to Godhead. That's why it said, Tandera Charana Sevi Bhakta Sange Bhaat Janame Janame Hoy Ei Abhilas. The desire of a devotee somehow or other get attached to the lotus feet of the devotees, because the devotees are attached to the lotus feet of the Lord. Yes, we might not be eligible, right, to have the complete absorption at the lotus feet of the Lord. But then, one time one devotee asked Prabhupada, is it okay, Prabhupada, that during the last moment of our life, we will not be able to remember the Supreme Lord Krishna, but somehow or other, because we have seen you, we have known you, and we are so much attached to you, we just chant Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Will you be able to go back to Godhead? Prabhupada says, yes, why not? Because a spiritual master is always thinking of Krishna, and he is always inspiring you to go back to Godhead, to take you to Krishna. Just by remembering his activities, we'll go back to Godhead. And that's why early in the morning, the first thing that we do, we chant this, Guruvastakam, this prayer called Samsara Dava Nalalidha Loka. Like this prayer we chant, we talk about the activities of Guru, we talk about the activity of the spiritual master, and that how a spiritual master serves the Supreme Lord. By glorifying this spiritual master, we are purifying ourselves, because we are what we associate with. Once we are associating with the beautiful qualities of the spiritual master, we get purified, we get those qualities. So then what about others, right, who don't have attachment to the lotus feet of the Lord? Then Devatas are saying that Yanya Aravindaksha Vimuktamanina Tvayasta Bhavada Visuddha Buddhaya Aruya Kruchena Param Padam Tata Patanti Adhana Dudayusmadangra. Especially, who doesn't have attachment to your personal form of the Lord. Oh Lord. Even if they work hard, Aruya Kruchena, they work so hard, but they are Abhisuddha Buddhaya, because their intelligence is not pure, because they don't understand that the goal of life is Nate Vidu Swartha Gatim Hi Vishnu, because they don't understand the goal of life is Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna, right? They fall down again, even if they go a little bit up, but they fall down again, because they have not developed that attachment to the lotus feet of the Lord. Once again, there is a very beautiful section in the Samudra Manthan pastime. So it is mentioned that how, in that place, it is mentioned, what is the difference between Devatas and the demons or the Rakshasas? Both were, trying their best. Both were trying their best to churn the ocean by holding the two ends of the Vasuki, churning that Mandara mountain. But then one party, like Devatas, they got the nectar. The other parties, they didn't get anything. Why it is so? What is the difference between Devatas and Devas? Both were working hard. Both were, using the same instrument, and the place was same, right? And even the Rakshasas, they had, more. They were more stronger, right? But then why they didn't get anything? They didn't get the mercy of the Lord, the prasad, the nectar of the Lord. So here Sukadeva Goswami is saying, Evam sura guna samadesa kala hetu artha karma matayo phale vifala Tatraamṛtam suragana phalamanja sapo yat pada pankaja rajasnapanam mahanta. Sukadeva Goswami is saying to Parikshit Maharaj, that what is saying? Sama desa kala, everything was same. Desa was, place was the same, kala, time was the same. Hetu, their cause also was the same. They want to get the nectar. Artha, karma, mataya, like, their intention, everything was same. But phala vikalpa, they get the different results. Why? Like Devatas got the Amrita, but they didn't get, because yat pada pankaja raja snapanam, yat pada pankaja raja, because Devatas, they were attached to the lotus feet of the Lord, and this demons, the Daityas, they didn't have any attachment to the lotus feet of the Lord. That is the difference. So yes, we might be seeing that two people who are working same thing, same place, for same reason, but one gets the result, other don't get it. It's all about how much attachment we have for the lotus feet of the Lord. That is important. So here, like even like this karmi, jnanis, and yogis, right? They also do so many activities, but if they have not developed that attachment to the lotus feet of the Lord, right? They come back again. So there is this beautiful pastime, like there was called Ramchandra Biswas. He was coming with one of the devotee of the Lord called Raghunatha Bhatta. They were coming from Varanasi to Puri. This Ramchandra Biswas, he was a devotee of Lord Ram, and he was always chanting Lord Ram's name. And while he was coming along with Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, he was serving very menially. And he was doing Vaishnava Seva also to Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. Right? But then, that once both of them came and met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Puri, Mahaprabhu was very happy to meet Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. And he asked about his father, Tapan Misra, and gave him a right place to stay and organize his prasadam and discuss so many things, right? But then he completely neglected this Ramchandra Biswas, and all the devotees were surprised, why it is so. And then Mahaprabhu replied, yes, you might be thinking that, like, he's chanting Lord's name or he's doing seva, but his only desire is that he wants to be the Lord. He wants to be Lord Ram. He wants to enjoy. He wants to be the controller. He wants to be the proprietor. What is the reason that you want to do the service? Lord sees. Lord is the Paramatma. He sees that. That one more reason, for why we're so much of glorifying the lotus feet of the Lord. Usually fit. Once you're taking surrender of some feet, means you are really being humble. You are being submissive. You are not really talking at equal terms. You are really being humble. You are feeling humble. Of course, like once you talk about our feet, like it's always dirty and always so much of dirty smell coming out of it. But of course, Lord's lotus feet is always pure. Always madhu is coming out of it. But still, right? Like once we are meditating on the Lord, we are making ourselves humble. That, oh Lord, you are Vibhu, I am Anu. I don't have any qualification. Right? Once you meditating on that, that's why Srila Prabhupada says that whenever we even visit a temple, we should not directly jump and have the first darshan of Lord's lotus feet. Prabhupada says that first we should take darshan of our acharyas, like especially once we go to the temple, we should first offer our obeisance to Srila Prabhupada, right? And then we should offer obeisances to all our acharyas, all the Vaishnavas. And then once we have the darshan of the deity, that first we should focus, we should have darshan of the lotus feet of the Lord. We see how the tulasi is there, how the flowers are there, how the Lord's lotus feet, how everybody is taking shelter there. How through the effulgence coming from the toenails of the Lord, there is a like Duman we talked about in the, all the darkness gets removed. And then we really proceed up, right, towards the knees and towards his beautiful waist, Trivangi form, and then his chest, and Namo Pankaja Nabhaya, Namo Pankaja Malini, Namo Pankaja Nitraya, Namaste Pankajandra. Right, how we really go up, and finally, we really meditate on the lotus face of the Lord, or lotus, a beautiful smile of the Lord. That's why we don't really directly jump in, right? We don't feel we have the right, to enjoy the beautiful face of the Lord. First we take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Okay, so these are the two, this section where, Prabhupada is saying that, whoever we might be, if we are not taking or getting attached to the lotus feet of the Lord, we will fall down. They will fall down from their position of imagined superiority, because they have no regard of your lotus feet. Because if you don't have that Shraddha, if you don't have that pure intelligence of taking shelter of the Lord, it is a matter of time we fall down. But then somebody might ask, okay, what about devotees? Does the devotee don't fall down? Then the Devatas are saying that, oh Madhava, oh the Supreme Personality of Godhead, oh Lord of Goddess Fortune, oh Madhava. If devotees completely in love with you, sometimes fall from the path of devotion, they do not fall like non-devotees, for you will protect them. And thus they fearlessly traverse the heads of the opponent and continue to progress in devotional service. Yes, Prabhupada is writing here that, devotees generally do not fall down, but if circumstantially they do, the Lord, because of the strong attachment to him, gives them protection in all circumstances. Thus, even if devotees fall down, they are still strong enough to traverse the heads of their enemies. We have actually seen that in Krishna conscious movement. There are so many deep programs. Prabhupada is talking about one time, right? How, especially in the West, right? There are so many people antagonistic to our movement. They were suing so many legal cases and court cases that, oh, these people are really, brainwashing, doing this and that, creating so much huddle, for the movement, creating negative propaganda for the movement. And Prabhupada is saying that we are thinking that it will take a long time to settle down these cases. But because the devotees were protected by the Supreme Lord, right? We own the case in one day. Right? Name Bhakta Pranas, the Lord's servants are always there, victorious. So a case which is expected to continue for years was settled in a day, because of the protection of the Lord. A devotee doesn't think that it's because of my purity or this or that I own the case, because it's Lord's mercy. Lord is protecting all of us. That's because Lord is saying that Konteya Pratijanihi Nama Bhakta Pranasyati. And yes, there are so many pastimes like Chitraketu, Indradimna, how he became a elephant, or Maharaj Bharat, when he became a deer. Right? Yes, there are so many examples. They had fallen down, but after falling down, they become much more stronger after that. They become much more determined. They become undeviated, in their bhakti. Right? Right? Yes. It is possible that we might fall down, but a devotee, he comes back to the default position as quickly as possible. We come back to the default position. Yes, we always say that yes, there will be fluctuations, but then we try to come back to the default position as quickly as possible. That is the quality of a devotee and non-devotee. Like if somebody is non-devotee, they fall down and they fall away, right? But a devotee, even if fall down, they get up and really stand up, and then they, with more stronger determination, they proceed further. That's how in this section we heard about the glories of the lotus feet of the Lord, and how the difference between the fall down of a person who has not taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord and who has taken the lotus feet of the Lord. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Aishwarya Mataji, thank you very much.
Prabhuji.
Time.
My question is little different, Prabhu. Thing is, both in Bhagavad Gita as well as Bhagavatam, it is said that demigods, it's a position and not actual person, right? I mean, different persons can actually hold the position of a demigod like Ganesha and Shiva. They keep changing, right?
Yes, Mataji.
So my question is, like, if during the Samudra Manthan, if Amrita was given to the Devatas, then it is said that when a person devotes to Devatas, he goes to the Devata Loka. But if they are Amar, then how can someone else take that position?
Yeah, that's a good question. How, like, Devatas, if, they are considered as a Amara
Right.
after taking the Amrita. So, like in the Sarga Loka, yes, they are Amara in terms of, as long as, yes, they are there in the Sarga Loka. But then, right, as soon as their quota is over, they are thrown away from the Sarga Loka. Right? Like that's why, in Bhagavad Gita, we hear this. Abrahma bhuvana loka punaravartina arjuna mamupeti tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. Right? And Lord is saying in Bhagavad Gita, Brahma, from the Brahma Loka to the Abraham Bhuvan Loka, punaravartina arjuna. Yes, they come back again, But then, yes, their lifespan, right, is really very difficult for us to also comprehend. For all of us, and just like an ant cannot understand, or the firefly, especially in this rainy season, right? Some flies comes, right? They don't understand the lifespan of a human being, right? Like similarly, right? For us, definitely, Devatas, their ayu is so long. That's why it's called Amara, right? But then, yes, they also go through this cycle of birth and death. Yes, they also come down from there. Like that's what we hear that, the story of Indra, right? How, one time he was, cursed because he also didn't pay respect to his guru, right? He had to appear as a pig. And then once, he had to go through his time period of purification, and then Brahma, he himself came that, oh Indra, right, because of your karmic activities, now you have taken birth as a pig, but now you come back. But he was so much attached to the family members in the body of a pig. Right?
So
But yes,
it means even Devatas should not forget Lord, otherwise they have a chance of falling down.
yes, that's exactly this verse is all about, right? Like as we heard, Aruya Kruchena Param Padam Tata, right? This is exactly the meaning of this verse.
Okay.
That whoever we are, right? Like there is a chance of fall down. There is a chance of, like, we might be considered that I'm in the imagined superior level, but just a matter of time will fall down. Even after falling, doing so much severe austerities and penances in the hard labor.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Prabhuji, one just small doubt. If we are attached to the Lord and by chanting his name and all that, I think I read somewhere that once we are attached, even if we fall down or even if we die, when we take the next birth, we reach that same level. From that level, we go upwards, na?
Yes.
Or have I not understood it clearly?
Yes, that's what we said in the verse number 33, right? Because we are worshipping Madhava. Madhava means, he is the husband of the goddess of fortune, right? That's a Salpamasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahatavaya. So, like, yes, in the material world, right? If you do something, if you get 1 crore of rupees and then we die, and the next birth we, based on our karmic activities, we get or whatever it is, right? Or if you become a big scholar, but the next lifetime we have to start with ABCD. But specially, if a person is a devotee and he could not complete, his task of going back to Godhead, he's appearing, in Suchinam Srimatam Gehe, that's what Prabhupada is saying. He has given, one more chance, he takes birth in a appropriate family, so that he can, start his devotional journey once again. And that's why, even if one falls down from the Bhakti Yoga, even if he has not completed the Bhakti Yoga, he is saved. So one devotee was very beautifully saying that, what is the difference between like other yoga and Bhakti Yoga? And other yogas like this Karma Kanda or any other yoga that anybody might do, or any other worship one might do, like even if whatever we try, we don't do properly, and if we don't do it properly, or we don't get anything. And even if we get something after doing that, it is for a limited period of time, right? Because they themselves are having a limited lifespan or limited energy, right? Or what exactly limited opulence that they can give. But in Bhakti Yoga, right, even if we do little bit, Lord protects that. And even if it is not complete, right, Lord gives it. Right, and once it complete, of course, then we get everything. Right, that's the we should really understand. That's what we started our session today in the beginning. That how fortunate we are, right, to take shelter of this Krishna Katha, Krishna Nama, Krishna Guna, Krishna Leela, and all the devotees of the Lord. Yes, we might be thinking that okay, like coming to Krishna Katha is just like any other activity, but it is not. Somehow or other. Once we get this opportunity to hear, especially on these beautiful days like Ekadasi, we hear Krishna Katha, it really goes deep within our heart. And Lord does that. Dhunoti, Shrunota Sukhatha Krishna, Punya Sravana Kirtana. Right, yes, this Kirtan, this Nama, everything is so punyam, so much of piety. We cannot consider how much piety, how much glorious it is. Yes, thank you, Gita.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments from anyone? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining. I know it's a working day. It's always difficult to join, but I really appreciate for coming and inspiring us and to share some Krishna Katha. So we'll continue beautiful this prayers of Devatas, where next time onwards we'll be discussing how Devatas will be glorifying the Lord and Devaki, that okay, Lord appears, just to propagate this bhakti, this Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, like more or less in a similar form of verses are there, and then right they worship, and then after that they depart. So we'll try to cover some of the verses next time. Okay, thank you very much. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.